Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Just a Guy with a Beer. It's been a couple of weeks. I missed everybody. This is episode number 39 of Just a Guy with a Beer. I can't believe we are that far into this. We just started off as a fun hobby in the basement, out in the front porch. Has turned into something this cool. And I was just telling my guests here tonight that I've made so many amazing friends over the last 39 episodes, and we're making more as we go. So welcome, everybody. This is episode number 39 of Just a Guy with a Beer. I have a pretty awesome guest lined up tonight. I'm going to introduce her to you right after this. This is episode number 39, starting right now. All right, we're back to episode number 39. Just a Guy with a Beer. After a couple weeks off, I had some stuff going on. I had not really sick, but I had a back injury that I had to take care of. Feeling better now. Like doc hooked me up, gave me some good drugs, and we're back here in the chair tonight in the Epicure Brewing Studios, and I have an awesome guest with here tonight. I have Michelle Stanish from Connecticut Beer Tours, and if you've never heard of Connecticut Beer Tours, it's pretty badass. I've gone on a couple of them, and we're going to tell you all about them. But I don't want to steal your thunder, Michelle. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this hooked up for a while. We say we're busy, but we have other things in our lives other than obviously what our beer stuff going on. So trying to find that little bit of time where we can get together and talk like this. It's been challenging, but here we are, nonetheless. Finally.
Absolutely. I mean, we always have time for a beer. I mean, come on.
Of course. So now, Connecticut Beer Tours. You guys got a bus? You want to go drink beers? Go on your website, ConnecticutBeerTours.com, and say, "Hey, take me out drinking. Tell me how this works."
I mean, obviously people see the name, they say CT Beer Tours. I mean, I wonder if they do, I don't know, beer tours. But, we do a lot more than that. If you go on our website, you'll see that we do. We also do wine. We do the cideries. We do the distilleries. We do all that kind of stuff. We go all over Connecticut. We even just branched out to Rhode Island and parts of Massachusetts as well. God, for those good old treehouse lovers. But I think the most important thing is that you can customize where you want to go. So you see our clusters that we advertise online, but say you don't want to go to, it includes 3 stops or whatever, and you don't want to go on the 3rd stop, for instance. And so you can go online and kind of just pick and choose where you want to go. And if you don't know where to go, you can ask me and I can give you some suggestions based off of atmosphere. If you're looking for like a beach outside type atmosphere, or place where you can play cornhole games and stuff like that, or based on actually the type of beer that you like. There's a lot of new good beers out there. So if you want to go to like Coles Road or Concentric, for instance, they're doing some great stuff out there right now.
Absolutely. So now you mentioned you can customize your own tour. Obviously you have to kind of keep it centralized, but you have already like pre-planned stuff, right? So you can pick something off your menu, right?
Right. Yeah. Menu.
You could say something off your menu. Okay, you guys have a northwest corner or a northeast corner. If you wanted to hit the southeast corner, you wanted to hit like Outer Light and Epicure and Tox or something like that. You guys can have something like that. But it'll say, "Hey, we talked about this when I went with you guys back in November." Say, "Hey, I want to go to other half of New York. Is that possible?" And you're like, "Heck yeah, it's possible. Let's make that happen."
Yeah.
So that's what I think that's cool. You had mentioned, if you wanted the people that wanted to go to like Treehouse or any place else up there they wanted to go to. Yeah.
The Tilted Barn. Tilted Barn's a popular one over in Rhode Island. People are always
because there's some great spots. Yeah, people always forget because that's like kind of out of the way. So people forget, hey, Tilted Barn is a fantastic spot.
Right.
And right now it's kind of hard to get in there too. So
yeah, it is. And so that's the one unique thing that makes us a little different. You can order transportation anywhere. You can go order an Uber anywhere. But that makes us a little different. We have relationships with these breweries, and we're the ones reaching out to them, letting them know that we're coming. We can reserve them seats, and a lot of times, the owners are there, or the brewmasters are there, and they come over and they sit and chit chat with us. Like that's something that you're not going to get, going in off the streets necessarily.
Right. So I had mentioned that I had done one of these before, and I actually have done two. I did one, a local one here. It was just to These Guys Brewing, sponsor of Just a Guy with a Beer, and we went to the Comics Roadhouse at Mohegan Sun, and that was fantastic. It was they picked us up at the Mohegan Sun, took us over to These Guys. We had a flight, had something to eat, came back to Mohegan, went to the Comics Roadhouse. So if you wanted to do something like that, that's also kind of fun because this, like you said, instead of getting an Uber, it's kind of hard to fit say if you had a whole gang of folks with you, a whole gaggle of people, you can all pile in your van and go wherever you wanted to go.
Yeah, I mean, we do. So you mentioned the comedy club. So we create relationships also with, axe throwing companies, the go-kart companies that are out there, the escape room. So again, you're doing a birthday party or something. You have somebody that likes wine, somebody that likes beer, and you want to do a little bit of an activity. We can coordinate that as well.
Excellent. So, you again, with the comedy, you had mentioned you guys have something coming up with comedy.
We do. So on Cinco de Mayo, it's a Wednesday, it's May 5th. We are sponsoring a comedy night over at Better Half Brewing in Bristol. So we're having pictures of margaritas. There's wine, beer, food, a little bit of something for everybody. And so check that out. That's on ctbeertours.com if you want to get tickets. But it should be a good night.
And then that is, how much is that per person to go to that?
So that's $25 a ticket. So
$25.
$25. Yep.
Excellent. That's a great listen. And that includes. What does that include? That includes the comedy show?
Comedy show, and then you get your first beer for free.
Excellent. So. That's awesome. And then, listen, it's Cinco de Mayo, so everybody, I'm part of the older crowd, so my Cinco de Mayo days are kind of behind me now. But when you're a younger crowd, what's better than that? You could get, it's basically your own personal Uber for the night, picking you up. And listen, folks, if you're watching this, and you're thinking about doing this, obviously, besides the awesome tour guides that you get and the cool stops, one of the best parts about this is they pick you up at your house. You guys picked me up at my house. I think I was like, what? I don't have to come to you? And they're like, no, we're going to literally get your whole gang of friends at your house. Whoever's coming with you, have them be at your house at, X o'clock, and we will be there at this time. And we'll all pile in the van. We'll take a quick picture, and everyone piles in the van, and off we go. Yeah. And I thought that, how cool is that? I mean, nobody wants to get in trouble for drinking and driving. So Ubers can be expensive, but listen, you guys do a bang up job. You guys have the big vans, and you have different sizes too, right?
I do. Yes, we do. I appreciate that. So we have our 13 passenger, 14 passenger vans. We also have the smaller ones, are about 10 passengers, but then we have connections with larger vehicles as well. So you have like the 24 passengers, 44 passengers. So we can pretty much accommodate any size, really.
That's good. And because there were 6 of us, right? Yeah, wasn't there 6 of us? 8 of us. It was, me and 6 of my friends. So it was me and my wife, and then we had 3 other couples with us. So it was great because now I have to tell everybody why. Because you guys had ran a awesome promotion for Veterans Day. And you were like, any veteran who wants a chance to win, just put your name in, like it and share it and follow. And I'd already been following and liking your page anyway. And a couple weeks later, you're like, hey, congratulations, you won. I'm like, no way, because it was cool. So you guys came to pick me up at my house, me and my friends. We had beers on the bus. We played trivia on the bus.
Drinks, yeah.
Yep. It was. We played trivia on the bus. It was like an hour ride because the first place we went to, we stopped at Mission Barbecue, and we had lunch at Mission Barbecue, and you guys took care of all that. And we went to Continuum Distillery, and we had some samples there. Then we went to Brassworks Brewery, which was right next door. We drank beers there. And then we went to Better Half Brewing, and we had pizza, and we had beers there. And you guys, because I was a contest winner, you guys covered the whole thing, and it was fantastic. And it was, listen, if I had to pay now, how much is an average trip like that? Let's say, how much would that cost one person?
It's usually about $85 a person. Typically.
So $85.
And it was what, a 8-hour day, 6-hour day?
Yeah, I mean, it was a 6-7 hour day because it was an hour out there and an hour back. But listen, folks, they pick you up at your house. They get you and your friends in the van, and you can bring your cooler. You can buy beers, and you can share beers on the way. And Michelle's there, and you go on most of these, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so that's how we got to know each other, and we shared beers. And your bus drivers are wonderful; they're awesome. But I had 2 meals and as much beer pretty much as I could drink, and I think we even shared a bottle of something or other on the way. I think we were drinking Screwball on the way back home.
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yes,
that's pretty common, I mean,
listen, for $85.
Yeah. I mean, don't forget you can hook up your tunes too. We got Bluetooth access, which I think people love.
Yes.
We could be the DJ, or you play whatever you want.
Yeah. I think we had like an 80s. We did an 80s karaoke night on the way home that night. Yeah, that was awesome. That was good. Great. So it is completely worth it. It is. Listen, I highly recommend booking any kind of tour, whether it's the pre-planned one or your own, through ctbeertours.com, and it is the funnest. It's a fun day, and if you're just looking for something to do, again, you don't have to drive anywhere. They come get you, and they drop you off safely at your house, and you just have your friends stay at your house if it comes to that. I mean,
yeah.
And I think it's great, and it's not limited to this area. You'll basically go anywhere that you guys want to go.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the coolest parts of it.
Yeah. I mean, I pitch it as if I were to go on one of these tours, I've gone on some of these tours out of state, and it's very based a lot off of history. They're in, older cities and stuff like that. And you listen to the history and the culture and all that type stuff. And that just bores the hell out of me. I don't know about anybody else, but I love history. I'll go on a history tour, I'll go see a museum, so we try to push the fun aspect. Like you said, the trivia games and all that type of stuff.
Absolutely, and it was cool because there was prizes, and like you guys have other sponsors, right?
We do. So we are always giving away stuff, whether it's from the venues that we're going to, or like we always have our newest sponsor is actually Drunk Alpaca. So we always have snacks on our van, and so we're like, why not use Drunk Alpaca? And though for those of you that don't know who Drunk Alpaca is, they do beer infused snacks. So we have their chips on board, and they basically make it's like kettle type chips, and they use local beer to like infuse it into the chips. And they're
excellent, by the way. The chips are excellent. Yeah. Yes. So and I think that's cool, right? Because we had snacks in, and we did some beer trivia, and I'm not very proud to say that I came in last place for Just a Guy with a Beer, the host of the beer podcast. I did very poorly. So I had some friends that were cheating on the bus anyway. But it's a complete blast. So now you guys have, along with a lot of other businesses over the last 14 months, has been faced with a lot of challenges. Tell me what kind of challenges you guys were faced with being a beer tour, a beer bus tour with the COVID, and how you guys overcame them.
So, I mean, just like anyone else, we were shut down for about 8 months out of last year. It was mostly the winter months. And so we rely very heavily on the breweries. So even when they were allowed to open, I think it was in May, we didn't do our tours until like June and July because number one, they didn't know what to expect. And we didn't want to just be like, hey, we're going to bring people to you and you're already in a cluster with reserved seating that you've never done before and having to actually have wait staff come to your table where you didn't have to do that before. And the whole food requirements that you had to have, how you needed to eat food in order to be able to be served beer. And so us bringing, a group of even 10 people or even 8 people to them was just, they were overwhelmed. And so we kind of stepped back and let them get comfortable before we started doing our tour. So we started a little later than kind of everybody else. And then once the warmer weather was open, everybody wanted to get out. I'm sure half the viewers can agree everybody just wanted to get out of the house. And then it got cold again. And then once it got cold again, everybody kind of recuperated back inside. I think a lot of people didn't know, I know from a lot of the breweries as well, a lot of people didn't like Christmas is a huge time for us. We get tons of gift cards, and as the breweries as well. And there was a kind of a slow season for everybody because people didn't know, well, do I buy a gift card? Are they going to be in business? I don't know, And so I wasn't buying gift cards either, so I can't blame people. And so again, we're seeing the same trend. We actually had a really, really good year the year before, so we were able to kind of stay afloat up until now. Thank God. And then we're kind of seeing the same trend now that it's warming up again, and now that we're seeing that they're opening up the new regulations that just came out that are in May that are going to be opening up seating again. So there's more. You can have more than 8 people at a table now. They're going to get rid of like the food rule. So we're starting to see things slowly open up more. And as they make these announcements, there's a direct correlation to how many quotes are coming in. So, and I know the breweries feel the same way. You drive by and you kind of slowly started to see these places get busier and busier. So I'm excited. I think it'll be a good year. I think once everything opens up, I think the breweries will do well. I think we'll do well. Because again, people just want to get the hell out.
Yeah. And listen, I went right after Veterans Day, and so we were kind of in like that purgatory where we didn't know what was going to happen. We were like kind of on that line where we thought things were getting better, but then things started trending down again. So everyone was like, I don't know. But I will tell you, everyone, this is before the vaccine started. I felt very safe on the bus. You guys took all the precautions. Everyone wore their masks. So everything was cool. So if you're worried about that, please don't, because, Michelle and her crew did a fantastic job making sure everyone stayed safe, making sure everyone followed the rules. Yeah. Because there was a couple times where like, hey, you guys need to put your mask on. I'm like, oh yeah. But once you have a couple 2 or 3 sodas, you kind of relax a little bit, and you're like, hey, you got to put your mask back on. Like, oh yeah. I mean, obviously nobody give you a hard time, but it's just you got to try to remember that.
Right.
You guys aren't doing it to be COVID Karens. You're doing it because you're protecting your business, right? You're protecting your business and the people that
and the brewery.
The brewery that you're at, the people that you're visiting, they have to follow the rules too. They may not agree with the rules, but they have to follow the rules no matter what. Right. So everybody was safe. Yes. Yeah.
And some towns are more strict than others, like I'm sure people have seen, every place
of course
is different, but yeah, I mean, we're we have our masks, we deep clean the vehicle after every use. We make sure, the breweries that we're bringing you to, we make sure that they're following all the rules and all that type of stuff too. Actually all of our tour guides and all of our drivers are actually all vaccinated now. So that's another perk that if people are nervous about that, we are all vaccinated. So that's kind of a
fantastic.
Yeah,
it's good. Everyone, it seems like we're getting to the point where a lot of people are, people that want the vaccine are getting the vaccine, and it's open to pretty much everyone now. So anybody who wants the vaccine, and they're able to go out and get that, and it's making it easier for people to get out and do stuff. People feel safer. So we just don't want everyone to, relax too much where we start getting unsafe again, and who knows. Hopefully this all goes away soon and it just becomes, having the flu or the common cold. So cool. All right. So listen, we're going to take a break real quick. We're going to come back, and while we're on the break, I want you to think about, give me some cool things that have happened to you. If you have anybody famous come on board, and have you some cool stories, like without mentioning anyone's name, any cool, funny stories that happened on the bus. I'm sure you can think of one or two. So we're going to come back. We'll have Michelle from Connecticut Beer Tours. This is episode number 39 of Just a Guy with a Beer. All right, looks like I'm having some audio difficulties. I have a brand new computer, so I thought I had everything checked. Before the show started. I had plenty of time, of course. I screwed it up, so I apologize to my sponsors: Epicure Brewing, These Guys Brewing, G&S Auto Sales, LBP Salons, Unify, Labyrinth Brewing. I have awesome sponsors, and they sponsor me. They believe in what I'm doing here, and I'll make it up to you guys over the course of the week. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. I went in there, and I swear to God that I made sure I had all of my settings correct, but apparently I didn't. So thanks for pointing that out to me, guys. My mom was right on the ball there, and I think that's Adam from Labyrinth watching too. So I apologize, guys. I will get that up in this segment here. But this segment here is definitely brought you by Labyrinth Brewing in Manchester, Connecticut. Check them out at labyrinthbrewingcompany.com. Speaking of Labyrinth Brewing Company, we're checking out the Triple Love Juice tonight. This is fantastic Imperial IPA. These guys, I stopped by there. I want to say it's Friday. I'm at that age in my life where I forget what day it is now. All the days kind of run together, especially since I've been working from home. So I'm kind of like all my days run together now. So I think it was Friday because we took my son up to visit the high school he'll be attending in the fall, and we went up to Manchester because I wanted to check out something up at Buckland Hills. So I said, I'm in the area, and I know they have the triple love juice out. So let me give those guys a call, and I'll go grab some beer. And I didn't realize they didn't open till 4, and this was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I texted those guys, and they were like, "Hey man, just come right over. We'll take care of you." And that's one of the reasons I love, besides their awesome beers, one of the reasons I love Labyrinth Brewing Company so much is that they're such great people. Adam and Sean and the whole staff over there are awesome. Every time I go there, they make you feel like, you're part of the family, and they care. They make you feel like they care. That they care about. They care about what that you like their beer, right? Because I have the Triple Love Juice. And you see, He says it's probably the triple love juice you're drinking. Now I wish I've only had yay much so far, so it's not that tonight. It's just trying to get used to my new computer. But I appreciate you pointing out that it was, because I have to figure out how the heck I ruined that. But definitely, guys, if you can get your hands on any Labyrinth Brewing Company beers, please do so, because it's fantastic. And they nailed this triple love juice, and they have another one coming out Thursday. They have a sour coming out, and I cannot wait. I think it's, guys, if you're still listening. I think it's I want to say it's a pomegranate and raspberry.
Oh, I saw that.
Sour. Yeah. It's called Sour Batch #1, I think. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm not going to be able to get there Thursday because my son has a game, but I definitely plan on possibly getting there over the weekend and picking up some of that. I thought it was out last week. Again, I never know what day of the week it is anymore, what date it is. So I screwed that up as well. So I will definitely be getting my hands on this new sour beer from Labyrinth. So anyway, before I went to my pseudo commercial break, I asked have you ever had anybody famous come on the Connecticut Brew Bus?
So I've never really had, like, the most famous person I've had is actually Holden from Radio 104. And I hate to even drop his name because he's such a cool guy, and he's come on a couple times, him and his wife and their friends. And what they love is that we're normal people. He's like, you people treat me like a normal person, which he is a normal person. I mean, you're a normal person. I'm a normal person, but I think people get so hyped up because, well, it's somebody on the radio,
Right.
But I mean, we do a lot of stuff for ESPN. We do a lot of shuttles for them, shuttle services, but I've yet to meet anybody famous.
Really? Even for ESPN?
We do. Yeah. We do like shuttle trips for them. So we brought them to like concerts, baseball games, little groups that they've done like up into Boston, like for like seminars and things like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Huh. Well, let's listen. If anybody famous is watching, if you think you're famous,
hop on
the ctbeertour.com and get out there and give yourself a beer tour. Go out and listen. My friends that are watching and my local family that are watching, please book something and get out there and explore. This is a great way for you to explore the craft beer culture of Connecticut outside of the area you live in.
Yeah.
Because we have so much to offer. And I tell everybody that comes on the show, and I don't have to tell you because you live it every weekend with the beer tours. There's so many great places in the state. I mean, you think of Connecticut beer, you think of Nebco, and you think of Counterweight, you think of guys like that, but Stony Creek and places like that. But there's so many great, I mean, out here, just in this part of the state, we have these guys, we have Epicure, there's Outer Light, there's Tox, there's so many great places. Fox Farm. I mean, just a short drive across the border in Rhode Island. We were talking about. Tilted Barn is over there, and you have the great places in Providence. Now, do you guys do any stuff out in Providence?
We haven't ventured out that way, but I mean, we absolutely could. I mean, look at just the Putnam area. You got Bare Hands Brewing, which is basically right there.
Right, it's right in that little downtown section of Putnam, right there, but it's right next to 85 Main. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
We have a ton. I mean, I think you bring up a good point that there's when we started, so we started technically at the end of 2015, even though I don't count that as a year. There was 14 breweries in Connecticut. 14. That's it.
Wow. Now, how many do we have now?
There's over 100. Last time I checked, there was 114. So,
wow. So just that short period of time, 6 years.
Yeah.
It's gotten so much bigger, and I love it. Yeah. Yes, it seems like there's always a brand new one popping up someplace all the time.
Yeah.
And that makes it great because, you want to get out there and you want to try all these different, it's impossible really to go out there and try all these different places and all these different, all these different beers from all these places. Cause
you can,
I mean, you could, but you have to, your waistline would pay for it. But but yeah, I mean, this, like I was saying, just in this area alone, there's so many great spots, and I've had so many of these great places come on, like Niantic Public House has been on, and Hop Culture, all those places that people were like, oh wow, I never really knew those places really existed.
Yep.
You know, because they don't really, their distribution isn't to a place like a Fox Farm would be. So they're just still kind of getting recognized. And I love the people go there and they say, oh man, I went to that place that you were at last week and they were really, really good. And that makes me feel good because I know that I'm helping out a friend and I'm getting the word out to other people in the state and other people, you know, even outside of the state. Like I talk beer with my dad a lot. So I try to educate his palate because I go look in his beer fridge and he's got like Coors Light in there and just like, I'm like, come on, Dad. And like Coronas, but he's getting better. He likes good beers now. So I mean, I know he's listening right now. He's watching right now. So I'm trying to educate him, educate his palate with the beers. So he helped me out with wine.
There you go. I was just going to say, we always have people on the tour. There's always in that group where people are like, I don't like beer, or I don't like sours, or I don't like IPAs. And it's like me and my guide's job, like at the end of that trip, to be like, you don't like IPAs? I'll make sure by the end of the trip, you're going to have each one and you're going to like it. You know, because there's so much out there, so much variety.
Yes. And it's like, I didn't like dark beers. I was not a big fan of like stouts or porters, anything like that. I was not barley wines, not a big fan at all. But since I started doing the show, I've opened up my mind a little bit to trying different things, and I've had some fantastic beers that I never thought I would actually liked. And because I was always I liked hazies. Because I was, before I started drinking craft beer, I always liked like Franciscaner was a very big beer that I liked, like the Belgian wheats. Those are the kind of beers that I liked, or like a Pilsner, like an American Pilsner, like a Budweiser or something like that. But then I started getting into the hazies when I discovered Treehouse. But I never thought I'd ever go to anything dark because I didn't like it. And now it's like I prefer the porters. I've had so many great beers. Like I have a fantastic barley wine in my beer fridge that I picked up from Labyrinth on Saturday, and I cannot wait. I'm saving it for Saturday, saving it for the weekend, because it's not one that, you know, you have to like let it rest, and you have to. Adam told me how to drink it, so I didn't know how to drink it. That's probably why I didn't like it, because I was like pulling it out of the fridge, cracking it open, and drinking it. But that's not what you're supposed to do. So who knew? Now I know. Yeah. So now I want to do it. So now listen. You had to see some crazy stuff on these bus trips.
A little bit.
Yeah. So to me, some safe for radio, television, safe for work. Give me a couple off the top of your head you can think of that you've seen that were pretty crazy.
I mean, luckily nothing too crazy has happened, like where you've had like, you know, people get arrested or anything like that. Like it's all good fun, you know, type stuff. I'll give you an example for my example of the worst tour I've ever been on. So it started off with a group coming on, and they're like, you know, they're getting, you know, everybody's kind of loud on the bus. Everybody's always loud on the bus, you know, and then you ask, you know, when you get off the bus, you know, be an adult, you're going into a public place, you know, and be an adult, you know. And so they'd be normal, and then they'd come back on the bus and they'd be, you know, loud, obnoxious, singing, you know, the same thing happens every tour. And eventually the questions of what's the worst tour you've ever been on comes up. And so I give my story, which I don't even remember what my story was at that time. And so they progressively got like louder as the trip went on and continued to ask, are we your worst yet? Are we your worst yet? And shame on me for always being like, no, you guys are good. Don't worry about it. You guys are fine.
Try harder.
So, yeah, exactly. Talk about put in mouth. That's pretty much what happened.
Yes.
So we're at the last stop. This was a group of 24. Obviously, the more people you have on a tour, the more rowdy they are. And these guys were actually knew each other as an a cappella group in college. So we pull up to Cottrell Brewing, which was our last stop, and they proceed to start singing as loud as they possibly can, as they're probably like 3 samples in. And they don't stop. They're just going and going and going, and they're looking at me, and I can tell they're already saying, "Are we the worst yet?" I can see it in their eyes. And so I walk over to the bar, and I'm talking with, the bartenders, maybe the 6 people that are in the place, and they're just like, "Do you have to deal with this like every week?" And I'm like, kind of.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think
that
at Cottrell at the time, I think they did like 8 samples. They got rid of those. You can't do that anymore. It's a flight.
Oh yeah.
I think we were on sample number 3, and I turned around and I just did one of these.
Yes.
Like to the bartender, and I was like, "They're done. Like they won't stop singing. We're done. Like we're done. Get in the van. That's it. We're done.
Tour's over."
Tour's over. And as they walk out, the entire bar starts clapping because they're like,
that they. Yeah, to clapping. Not that they sang, that they were leaving.
Yeah, because they were leaving, and I'm like, "Sorry,
oh my
guys.
Goodness. That's funny. Well, I guess that would probably be pretty terrible.
But yeah.
So listen.
I mean, I had another group that tried to climb out the windows at 2 Roads, like out the balcony because she wanted a cigarette. Because she wanted a cigarette.
That's not.
And they weren't mad about it.
That's not like a ground. That's not like a ground floor. Yeah.
No, like that's not an exit. It's a window.
Yes, a second floor window in a factory.
Again, get in the van. You're done. You just ruined it for all your friends. Get in the van.
Yeah. So now, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we've been trying to hook up and get this done for a while, and we've been. It's been since like November we started talking about this, and we kicked around some ideas, but over the last few days we came up with a fantastic. And I will not take any credit for this idea. This was all you. So we have a special announcement to make. Just a Guy with a Beer and the CT Beer Tours. We are going to partner to do once a month. We are going to do a Just a Guy with a Beer tour, and we are going to pick 2 or 3 breweries. I'm going to get on the bus with a couple of my buddies and Michelle, and we are going to hightail it out to someplace in Connecticut or Rhode Island or wherever the road takes us, and we are going to do live spots with the ownership and the brewmasters at some of these breweries. And our first one right now is tentatively scheduled for May the 16th.
That's right.
So May the 16th, it'll be the first Just a Guy with a Beer tour, and we have not picked a location yet. So we are going to come up with that, and then we'll be on our Facebook pages, Instagram, wherever else you get it, and you'll be able to find any information that you need for Connecticut Beer for CT Beer Tours on the Just a Guy with a Beer's Facebook page, or Just a Guy with a Beer website, which is www.justaguywithebeer.com. You guys will be featured on my website this week, so permanently. So we will put all the details out for the Just a Guy with a Beer tour with myself and Michelle and whoever else decides to join us, Drunk Alpacas, and whoever else decides to part of the Brutang clan, as my group of friends is called, who decides to join us from the Brutang clan. And you got to meet some of those characters on our tour back in November. So that's going to be fun. I think it's going to be very, very cool. We finally came up with something that we could do together that would benefit the both of us. So Labyrinth Brewing, they're very excited about that. So hey guys, we will definitely be headed out your way to Manchester, because listen, they're one of my favorite spots in the whole entire state. So faux show, I'll be headed out to Labyrinth Brewing to do a live spot out there. So unfortunately, we're running out of time. I apologize to my great sponsors, G&S Auto Sales, Unify, Epicure, these guys, Labyrinth Brewing, Willimantic Brewing, LBP Salon. You guys are awesome. I love you. I will be back next week with my Just a Guy with a Beer NFL Draft special. See what I did there? Next week's the NFL Draft, so we'll be doing a draft special, Just a Guy with a Beer, with my friends from Do Not Sports, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So I will make sure that my audio is in perfect working condition next week. But until then, Michelle, I thank you for your short amount of time that we spent together tonight. I am glad that we finally got to do this, and I'm very excited about our little venture we have coming up next month.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Thank you for having me on.
All right, guys, listen, I hope that you enjoyed the show tonight. And again, next week, Monday, I'll be back Monday night, 8 p.m. It will be Just a Guy with a Beer, episode number 40, the Just a Guy with a Beer NFL Draft Special. Until then, this is Scott Fryer, Michelle Stanish. Thank you for coming on again. Please be safe. Please social distance. And please do not beer shame your friends. We'll see you next week, guys.